All right, on this episode of the One Goal interview series, we're joined by Matt Turner of the New England Revolution and most recently the USMNT. Thanks for taking the time to join us, Matt. How are you doing today?
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. We're happy to have you here. So first off, with the MLS season just starting around the corner, how are preparations going for you and the Revs?
So good. We're out in LA, just been away sparring with the Galaxy a bit and now LAFC as well. It's been definitely a long preseason for us, and we've learned a lot about ourselves. But getting guys up to speed, the new guys integrated in the locker room, it's been great to have a little bit of extra time, and we're looking forward to that first competitive game against Chicago on the 17th.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So, your standout performances for the Revs in recent times have been turning heads, as your social media tag says. But one of the more interesting parts of your career was the start. So, you had one of the more unique pathways to the national team, having not really played soccer until high school. So, first off, what made you interested in the sport itself?
Yeah, I think it's not really as much of a secret anymore that was sort of the ace in my sleeve, that I always sort of had the chip on my shoulder that I have a lot to learn, and I still believe that. So that's part of my journey, and part of what's helped me to find success is just always being willing to learn and always understanding that I'm later to the game than most people I'm competing against, even some of the younger guys. So I always can learn something from somebody, no matter who they are or what their experience level is. But I got into soccer back in 2010. That World Cup was the first World Cup I ever watched, and just seeing the U.S. do well, score that goal against Algeria, really made me so interested. And I, being from New Jersey, I played tons of different sports growing up: football, basketball, baseball. But there's nothing quite like that World Cup or soccer that made me feel the emotions I was feeling while watching it. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I really enjoy this sport, and I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all remember the goal heard around the world. Jake's even got on his wall, he's got the magazine from the LA Sports right there.
It's awesome.
So super cool memory. And yeah, so when did you realize that soccer was something that you wanted to do or were capable of doing professionally?
So when I was 18, I just finished my freshman year at Fairfield University, and still soccer was more of just something I loved to do. It wasn't anything that I thought I could do for a career. I took my schoolwork very seriously. I thought that I was a finance and math major. I thought that I was gonna, go work in New York City, kind of do the old 9-to-5 gig. But yeah, I think after my freshman year, I went to Brazil, doing some internship stuff. And my dad did a ton of work down there with his company, and he knew somebody who knew somebody that was the director of a soccer academy in Brazil. And I got to play there for 5 weeks. I lived there and I trained there for 5 weeks, and I didn't speak the language. I was immersed in this culture that I had no idea, a professional environment for the first time, and playing games on the weekends. And it was just an amazing experience, super eye-opening about the level down in South America, and also what it takes or what it means to be a professional for a lot of those guys. And yeah, so at the end of that, they wrote me this long thing in Portuguese of sort of an analysis on my game. And at the end, the last line, it literally said can play professional in home country. So that was the first time that I had heard that. And then I started thinking, okay, so let me translate the rest of this. What else do I need to work on to try to get better? So that was probably the first time.
Wow, that's a fascinating story,
Yeah.
especially that last line, right?
Yeah.
Writing in the stars.
Exactly.
But yeah, you said something interesting where, you grew up playing a bunch of different sports, and honestly, a big debate amongst American soccer fans is whether it's better to play multiple sports growing up or just focus on soccer. So what are your thoughts about that?
I obviously, coming from the background I came from, I think that it diversified me. I really loved playing all the different sports, getting to know different groups of people, and playing in North Jersey, playing soccer in high school, trying to find the best soccer I could find. I was down in Newark, New Jersey, playing with people from all different backgrounds, playing baseball with the guys over in Union City. You know, it's just like playing all these different sports helped open my eyes to, you know, that bubble. You know, maybe I grew up in a predominantly white town. I got to learn a little bit more about what people go through at a young age, and that helped me to mature a little bit. So I think like just specializing in one sport can make you like a one-sided athlete personally. I think like playing multiple sports opens up your, you know, athletic abilities in different ways. And also, you know, you get to meet tons of different people that have different interests, and you get to learn a lot about different cultures and backgrounds in that way. And that's the beauty of our country.
Yeah. I mean, clearly it's like worked out for you, right? Because by playing those sports, you've made it all the way to the national team, which is, you know, the highest level in American soccer. So I just want to know, like, what was it like making your senior team debut?
Yeah, that was a really special moment for me, considering, you know, where I'd come from in terms of that. I don't know if I missed the national team game after that one in 2010, where I was just so like the emotions it made me feel. So to be able to be out there in Orlando and, you know, listen to the national anthem and be one of those people that the camera was on and get to sing that was my really like emotional moment, where I felt like pretty choked up, you know, teary eyed. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, that's over. Like, it's time to play. It was really great. My girlfriend came down, a couple of my best friends, one from childhood and another two from my university, were at the game. So I got to share it with some special people in my life, and obviously couldn't write a better script for me, and it was great, and something to build off of for the future, right? It's not like job done now. There's a lot of opportunity to be had in the national team in 2021.
Yeah, when you talk about building off of that, how is it adapting to Greg Berhalter's style of play, where there is so much onus put on the goalie to start the attack and really like help build out and just keep the team going?
Yeah, I think I've definitely learned a lot. The first time I was called into the national team was the end of 2019. And I know 2020 wasn't a normal year, but it was a year and change until I was able to break into the team and actually get my debut. So it took obviously a lot of learning, a lot of consistent play with my club to be able to get that opportunity. And it was tough. I mean, I'm so far behind, or I was at least so far behind. Technically, I couldn't, when I first got to the Revs, I couldn't pass the ball 10 yards back and forth. If we were just trying to play one-time passes, I couldn't even do that. I couldn't take the right touch and play the right ball. Those are things that I had to learn as a professional. It was my shot stopping ability that saved me, that allowed me to stay in the league for my first 2 years. And then I started getting more comfortable on the ball, and then things started to open up for me in terms of playing opportunity. So it's been challenging. But at the end of the day, you know, Greg told me, like, before the game, do what you're comfortable with. Like, you're here for a reason, and we want to win. So do whatever you're comfortable with, and let's go win this game. So it's, you know, there's a lot to learn in terms of the system, but at the end of the day, it boils down to winning games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have a real chance at, you know, booking your flight to Qatar, assuming we qualify next year. So I'm kind of curious what that would mean to you, getting to play with the USMNT in a World Cup, having fallen in love with soccer during the 2010 World Cup. Like, what's it like, that all coming full circle almost?
Yeah, honestly, Jake, I'll never look that far in the future. I know this game too well to be able to look to the end of 2022 and say, oh yeah, that will be amazing. Because then tomorrow at practice, I'll drop 10 balls. You know what I mean? I know that it's just going to take to be present. It's going to take being present every single day, you know, making sure every time I step out on the field for the Revs, I make the most of those opportunities when eyes are on me, that I'm playing consistently, I'm playing well. There's a CONCACAF Nations League, there's a Gold Cup, then there's all those World Cup qualifiers. I'd love to be a part of all that, be a part of the team, really solidify my place that way, and hopefully get a couple caps along the way. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think I'm confident. There's no doubt in my mind. So
I appreciate that.
So yeah, now we'll transition to some rapid fire. And I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but in an imaginary scenario, if you could play in any league in the world, which would it be?
Premier League.
Gotcha.
In England.
Yeah.
If that wasn't clear.
Awesome. And which goalkeeper or player do you look up to the most?
Tim Howard.
That's a good choice.
He's a good person to look up to. So what's one piece of advice you'd give any goalie as they head into their first PK shootout?
No pressure. This is the time for you to have fun. And those guys are the ones that are expected to score. You're not expected to save any. So if you save one, you're the hero.
Nice. So from one Jersey guy to another, what do you get on your bagel?
Everything bagel, Taylor ham, egg and cheese, salt, pepper,
There it is.
ketchup, and some hash brown if I'm feeling dangerous.
Oh, wow. Perfect. That is the perfect bagel. The hash brown is that next level stuff, you know, cures the hangover.
You can't have that every week. You gotta like, you know.
No. That'll slow you down for some time after.
All right. Do you have a save that you're most proud of?
No, not really. I have like a few favorites over the years. One of my favorites was in 2018 against, I always talk about this one, against Kai Kamara, because Kai was on the Revs the year before and we did tons of extra work in terms of finishing. And it was sort of like a scramble across the goal. He had one of the best goal scorers in MLS history, had the whole back post. And I slipped and fell because I thought he was going to hit it first time. And then he took a touch and I was able to get back to my feet and cover that's the right side of the goal. And I actually caught it. And it was just like, it wasn't a save that anybody like talked about because I made it look kind of easy, but that was probably one of my favorites.
Did he say something afterward?
He's just jokes because like I tagged him in a picture on Instagram with me making the save, and I tagged him in it. He was like, "Okay, next time I see you on the field, you're in trouble," basically.
I love it. All right, last one here. In terms of all-time GOATs, who's better, Derek Jeter or Messi?
Oh my goodness. It's mad. I could send you a picture on my phone of me and Derek Jeter. Actually, I love that guy, and I'm a huge Yankee fan. But I got to go with Messi. He's just like next level stardom, next level effect on the game, and he's won a ton. You know, Jeter was. You know, people will argue he wasn't the greatest fielder in the world. They'll argue he wasn't the greatest hitter in the world, but he was Mr. Clutch.
He had the thing, right?
He obviously made the toss to Ori Posada when he came down the first baseline. Like, why was he down the first baseline? Nobody knows. He caught the ball and like dove into the stands. You know, like did he have to go into the stands? I don't know, but he did it.